So the FTC has announced that they have reached an agreement with Machinima over deceptive advertisements that were run during the launch of Xbox One. And basically what it sounds like is just a little slap on the wrist, because Machinima is just having to promise that they're not going to do it again. So what happened was, during the launch of Xbox, Microsoft hired an ad agency called Starcom, which is pretty normal for a corporation of their size. I mean, they, develop products to sell, and then they hire professional PR companies to help them do the selling. And they have their own PR division, but when you're talking about launching a product worldwide, you need some help. So they hired the Starcom company, who Starcom then went out and reached out to Machinima. And according to the FTC, there were at least 2 YouTubers who were paid a very nice chunk of change in order to create videos that were positive towards Xbox. One YouTuber was called Skies vs. Gaming. They received $15,000 for 2 videos that they produced. Another YouTuber by the name of Syndicate Project received $30,000 for 2 videos he produced that spoke positively about Xbox and some of the launch games. Now, the videos were made in such a way that it seemed like the feelings that they were portraying in the video was their own personal views. And they failed to mention anywhere in the video or the description box that they were paid this chunk of change in order to say something positive about the Xbox One. And they weren't allowed to talk about, several negative items about the games or consoles. And that appears to be Machinima's rules, because the FTC ran an in-depth investigation. They put out a statement that said that these appear to be isolated incidents that occurred in spite of and not because of the absence of policies and procedures designed to prevent such lapses from Microsoft. They also noted that both Microsoft and Starcom reached out to Machinima and required that Machinima fix the situation as soon as they learned that they were paying YouTubers without the appropriate disclosures. Microsoft also put out a statement saying that, quote, "We are pleased that the FTC recognized that Microsoft has vigorous compliance processes and procedures for sponsored campaigns." Machinima also put out a statement saying that they were committed to transparency, which, sounds about something like Hillary Cankles Clinton would say, talking about transparency. Which, by the way, anytime I hear her speak, I feel like I got to take a shower afterwards. So one thing that blows my mind is how much YouTubers were paid to make videos. Like, oh my God. Like, don't go off thinking that YouTubers are making that kind of money making videos, because I assure you that at least I'm not. Nowhere near that. And, that's crazy to me. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. Don't trust anyone at face value when they're talking about, their reviews on something or games. Or, that goes for anything in this world. If you see something on TV, you see a commercial or whatever else, then there's a good chance that somebody paid for that idea or whatever. That's just the way the world works. And, people ask me all the time, where do you get your news? Where do you get your content that you trust? And it's like, no matter what you do, don't just rely on just a handful of sources. Take it from numerous places, and then you can get a better picture of what actually is true out there. And, a lot of YouTubers will show you content that they were paid to show you or that they were given to show you. A lot of people, whenever they do these unboxing videos, I'm not saying that it happens all the time. Some people just bought that for themselves and they want to show it to you. But a lot of times these companies will send these products out to people, and so that's why they're, showing it to you. And the same thing happens in TV shows. You're watching a TV sitcom and there's a nice little Apple laptop sitting on the desk, or a Coca-Cola bottle conveniently placed where you can see the label sitting on the counter. It's not like those were just they just happened to be there, Somebody paid to have that content there. And this happens all the time. Sony, at one point, they had to pay out millions of dollars several years ago because of fake advertisements. What they were doing was, there were several reviews written for their movies by a character by the name of David Manning. And he supposedly worked for the Ridgefield Press, which was a newspaper in Connecticut. And his quotes from these movies were showing up all over the country in different ads. And Sony was using his quotes to sell tickets to their movies. And somebody happened to reach out to this small paper to find out, who is this David Manning guy? And we want to speak to him. And the paper was like, you know what? Nobody by that name works at this location. And so an investigation was done. Sony had to pay up millions of dollars because it was their PR team who had just created this person out of the figment of somebody's imagination and was, printing quotes. It was fake advertisement. So I'm not saying that you can't trust anybody, but just always be skeptical. Always do your research. If you're looking into buying something, whether it be a game or a product, listen to multiple points of view. And I mean, that's just common sense. I think most people get that. But anytime somebody tells you at the beginning of their video, hey, join up with this network because it's the best network there is, or my channel wouldn't be around if it wasn't for them, etc. Chances are that if you sign up for that network and you click on their link, then they're going to get some type of monetary compensation out of that. It's sort of like some type of pyramid scheme. If somebody tells you to go out and buy something before they even start into their main content of the video, or they talk about their sponsors or whatever else, I mean, they're getting compensation for that. And I think most people, get that. And I mean, I've even been accused sometimes by the conspiracy theorists that people claim that I'm paid off by Microsoft or whatever. Believe me, I would love to be offered $30,000 to make a 2-minute video. But I have never received one dime from Microsoft. And if anybody gives me something that I'm showing to you, which sometimes happen, sometimes companies will send me review copies of games that I normally wouldn't play if it weren't for them sending it to me, just because I'm a cheapskate and so I don't buy a whole ton of games. I'll tell you about it, and I tell you, Ubisoft hooked me up with this game to show you, so here it is. And then I usually just leave it up to you to make your own decision. That's why I don't even give like review scores for games and everything, because that's a whole different subject. But I mean, it's usually just people pulling a number out of their butt. And so anyway, I just try to tell you what's in the game, what's it about, and let you make up your own mind whether or not it's a game worth picking up. So you want to read more about this story, links down in the description box. That does it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.